The Green Bay Packers traded away the best receiver in football this offseason, Davante Adams. And many questions have arisen what the Packers are going to do, how is Aaron Rodgers going to look, and is this team still able to win the NFC North and make some noise in the playoffs? I'm here today to answer some of those questions and give some relief to Packers fans. But before we get into the video, if you guys are new to the channel, welcome, and consider subscribing and dropping a like on the video if you guys do enjoy it. We're on the road to 3,000 subscribers. I think we're about 500 away, so if you are new, be sure to subscribe. With all that being said, let's get into the video about the Packers and their upcoming season without Davante Adams. Now, before we get into the trade of Davante Adams and all the acquisitions the Packers made this offseason to better their team, I want to take a trip to memory lane and go back to last season, how it went for the Packers, how it ended, and how we got to this point where the Packers are having a pretty new roster as we head into the year. Now, the regular season couldn't have gone much better for the Packers. They won the NFC North. Again, it seems like they win it almost every single season when Aaron Rodgers is healthy. They went 13-4, clinched the #1 seed in the NFC, got home field advantage, got the first round bye, and things were looking really good for the Packers. Many people thought maybe this is the year that they finally win a Super Bowl, make it back there with Aaron Rodgers for only the second time in his career. But the 49ers had different plans. They went into Green Bay in the divisional round and won 13-10 on the road. It was kind of a snow game. The Packers weren't really able to throw the ball around the yard like they did the last couple of years with Matt LaFleur's new offense and Aaron Rodgers. And the 49ers ran the ball, they kept out of harm's way, and the biggest determining factor of the game was special teams. And how often do you really say that in an NFL game, where it's not the defense, it's not the offense that wins or loses the game, it's the special teams. And that's exactly what happened for the Packers. And this is the main thing I want to drive home about the Packers season. Their special teams was really the reason their season ended. For the second time since 2018 and the third time since 2014, the Packers finished dead last in Rich Gosselin's annual special teams rankings for the 2021 season. And if you look at almost every single metric, the Packers are towards the bottom of the NFL. And special teams doesn't really take a lot of talent. You don't need great players that are able to execute. It's really more about being disciplined and getting some good coaching on how you're going to achieve things on that side of the ball. And the Packers were just not getting that from Maurice Drayton, who was their former special teams coach last year. He only was the special teams coordinator for 1 year. He was not getting it done, and the Packers moved on from him. But the issue with that is they had to do it after the season and after the 49ers game. And really why the Packers lost was because of a blocked punt return for a touchdown. The Packers had a 10-3 lead late in the fourth quarter. The Packers went to punt near kind of their goal line. It was blocked, returned for a touchdown, and then the 49ers walked off a field goal and basically ended the Packers season in a snap of a finger. To combat that issue, the Packers signed Rich Bisaccia as a special teams coordinator. He was the Raiders' interim coach, and he was their special teams coordinator for a few years. And he's universally known in the NFL as one of the best special teams coaches in the entire league. Like I mentioned prior, special teams is not about talent and players you can acquire to play it. It's really about coaching. It's really about discipline, and I think Rich Bisaccia is going to be able to bring that in. The Packers should not have an issue on their special teams next season. But unfortunately for the Packers, their season did end again with a severe disappointment. And that's kind of been the theme of the Packers the last few seasons. And they went into the offseason with a lot of questions if Davante Adams was going to return to the team. And many thought that Aaron Rodgers could be retiring after a huge disappointing season and not be returning to the team. And only about a month into the offseason, those questions would be kind of put to bed as Rodgers signed a 3-year, $150 million deal with 2 voidable years in 2025 and 2026 that helped for salary cap purposes. And that essentially confirmed that Rodgers would be returning to the Packers, and he is at least a part of their plans for the near future. Packer fans took a pretty big sigh of relief, but then only a couple weeks later, Davante Adams would be on his way out to the Las Vegas Raiders for a first and second round pick in the 2022 NFL Draft. And just like that, the most dynamic receiver in football was no longer part of the team. What Rodgers and Adams have been able to do since they teamed up in 2014 when Adams was drafted is pretty astronomical. The first 2 years of Adams' career, he wasn't super involved with the offense. He was a young player still developing, so he didn't really put up great numbers in this first 2 years of his career. But he really took off in 2016, and he really hasn't looked back. He had 75 catches for 997 yards and 12 touchdowns, and then followed that back up in 2017 with his first Pro Bowl appearance, going for 74 catches for 885 yards and 10 touchdowns. And he did that in only 14 games. He missed 3 due to some injuries. So he definitely would have eclipsed over 1,000 yards if he remained healthy. He came back in 2018 and followed it up again, taking another step. 111 catches for 1,386 yards and 13 touchdowns. And it was really in 2018 when he emerged as one of the best receivers in football. And we've really seen him get better every single year since he's been a Packer. The last 2 years with Rodgers is when he's kind of exploded. Rodgers has won back-to-back MVP MVPs with Adams, and he went for 18 touchdowns in 2020, which is just absurd. And this is one of the most unstoppable and dynamic dudes we'd ever seen. And it's a little bit underwhelming that they're not going to be able to continue this reign that they've had over the NFL. But in a sense, I do think that this may be better off for the Packers and Davante Adams, and we're going to get into that a little bit. But the national media concern about Davante Adams leaving and how he's the best receiver in football and his pairing with Aaron Rodgers has made people kind of go off the edge a little bit. People are now predicting the Vikings to flat out win the NFC North. And although I'm somebody that believes that the Vikings can compete with the Packers, I don't think it's all set in stone that they're able to completely win it. I think the Packers still have a very good team, and it's not going to be easy one way or the other. But saying that the Packers are not going to win the NFC North simply because of one player, I think that may be a little bit inaccurate. Here's Aaron Rodgers' game log for every single game since 2014 when Davante Adams has not played. As a starter, he is 10-1. He's completed 67% of his passes for 2,800 yards, 24 touchdowns, and 3 interceptions for a 112.7 quarterback rating. And those numbers are for only 11 games. If you extrapolated that for over a 17-game period, you probably have another MVP season for Aaron Rodgers. So although Davante Adams definitely makes things easier for Rodgers, he's one of the best players in the entire NFL, simply saying that Rodgers cannot produce and he cannot be a good quarterback without Adams is simply crazy talk. And I think Rodgers will prove this year that he can still be a very effective player without Davante Adams. And I think some of the young receivers they drafted and they've gotten the last couple of years are really going to prove some things as we head into the season. So now I kind of want to get into the moves the Packers made this offseason and how much more complete the roster is really looking from the past couple of years where they've had kind of a lot of holes on their defense. And I definitely do believe that their defense is going to be one of the best in the NFL. I think that they have the best secondary in football. Jair Alexander, Eric Stokes, Rasul Douglas, Adrian Amos, Darnell Savage. That's a fantastic secondary. And then you add in the help that they got in the draft for the front seven. Quay Walker as their inside linebacker. He's going to step in and help out their run defense that's kind of struggled over the years. You got Devontae Wyatt, his teammate from Georgia. Plug him in the middle. You have a big run-stopping defensive tackle. So those two players are definitely going to help out the run game as rookies. And then the Packers traded up and they got Christian Watson, who I believe has a huge ceiling. And he's coming out of North Dakota State where he put up some pretty good numbers. He has some drop concerns here or there with the talent as far as the speed and the size. He can be a very good player, and if he's going to excel anywhere, it's going to be with Aaron Rodgers. And then in the fourth round, the Packers also got Romeo Doubs out of Nevada. So now you pair those two rookie wide receivers. You get Amari Rodgers last year. You have Randall Cobb, and then they also signed Sammy Watkins on a one-year deal worth $4 million. And you still have Alan Lazard. You re-signed Robert Tonyan, and the Packers still have a fairly good amount of weapons. Although they don't really have that true X receiver as we head into the year on paper, I definitely think one of these young guys can evolve into that as the season goes on. Most likely, in my opinion, Christian Watson, if he can take off as a rookie. I'm not really too concerned with Rodgers. It's really more if some of these rookie wide receivers can go in and produce, and I believe that they will. And the next part of the Packers offense is their offensive line, which was missing a lot of pieces last year. David Bakhtiari, one of the best left tackle pass blockers in the league, only played in one game last year. They also were without their rookie Josh Myers, who only played in a couple of games, and Elton Jenkins missed a lot of the season as well. So the Packers were severely injured on their offensive line, and they're going to get all of those starters back this year. Pro Football Focus still had the Packers ranked at 14th with some of those backups in. I think it was kind of a product of Aaron Rodgers getting rid of the ball quick, but they're definitely going to have a lot of their studs back on the line. And I think that really bodes well for their double-headed monster of Aaron Jones and A.J. Dillon. I definitely think Dillon and Jones are one of the best running back duos in the NFL. So I would really not be concerned with the Packers' weapons because I do think that they have a lot of depth and a lot of viable options on that side of the ball. In the end, I can't say the Packers are just going to be amazing now that they got rid of Davante Adams and they didn't really need him to be successful, but I do believe getting some capital for him and not having to pay him a large sum of money definitely made the Packers a more complete team, especially on the defensive side of the ball. They get to bring back some of their players like Preston Smith and Devondre Campbell, but I'll be very excited to watch the Packers next season without Davante Adams and see what Aaron Rodgers is able to do. A lot of people don't think that he can be successful without him, but I really do think he's going to have another great year, and I think the Packers are still going to be a very tough team to beat in the NFL. But thank you guys so much for watching the video. If you guys are new to the channel, be sure to subscribe and drop a like on the video if you guys did enjoy it. Let me know what you guys think of the Packers and if they're going to be a scary team next year or if the loss of Davante Adams is going to affect them in the 2022 season. But thank you guys so much for watching, and I'll catch you guys in the next one.